So last week we saw the markets. Last week the market really declined a lot. We saw USDCAD dropping. We saw USDCAD dropping from price 1.41179. Now price is at 1.39360. So this is a major decline from last week. Yeah, so this is a major decline from last week. And this is the daily time frame. All right, so let's see what we should be expecting and what we should be expecting from price currently this week, this new week we just entered today. All right, so last week on Friday we saw a major break. We saw price broke through a major demand level aggressively. That was on Friday. This candle right here. That was on Friday. We saw this major break where price declined heavily, and the price got to our demand level, broke through that demand level, and it's now below the demand level currently. Price is below the demand level currently. So what are we expecting, and what is price trying to do right here? So currently we have two things we should be looking at right here now. We have two things. One of two things would be happening right now. So let's start from the starting of how this bearish movement got to this level. Let's start from the very starting of how this bearish movement got to this very level. Then from there, we'll be able to pick out some ideas that would point us to the direction of what we should be expecting on this new week and this new day. All right. So this was the, let me try to make it, let's try to make the chart more, because I want to explain it from the starting point. Okay, let's make it this way, like this. All right, so this was a major bullish trend. This was a major bullish trend from, come in guys. So we had a major trend breakthrough on USDCAD. Yeah, so we had a major trend on USDCAD some weeks ago. We had a major trend on USDCAD, a major bullish trend on USDCAD. I think 2 weeks ago, yeah, 3 to 2 weeks ago, we had a major bullish trend on USDCAD, where we saw price. Remember, this was where we're trying to pick out where the current bearish trend, this bearish trend that's happening, the current bearish trend, the starting point, and what we should be expecting, and what we should be keeping our mind open to. All right, so we had a bullish trend. Some few weeks ago, where we saw price go to this demand level right here, this major demand level. Let me put a box on it so we get a clearer view of where I'm at right now. Now this black box indicates the demand level currently. So price came to this demand level. This is a major demand level. We saw the bullish trend where price got to this aggressively. Remember, so you can see how price acted when it wanted to get to the demand level aggressively. Bullish trend with the bullish movement on that very day was very, very strong, and you can clearly see it. Price rapidly got to that demand level. So let's keep our eye open for some information right here. So we saw the demand level where price got to the demand level. Price broke aggressively through the demand level. Now this breakout right here, let me mark something out for us so we'll get a clear view of what's going on. All right. Now we had a breakout. Now we had a major breakout right here on this demand level. You can clearly see this blue demand, this yellow demand level, where price break through the demand level aggressively, like it was a pure bullish trend continuation breakout. But this was nothing but a shakeout, or you can call it liquidity sweep. Yeah, so this was nothing but a liquidity sweep, where price got to the demand level, broke through the demand level, tapped in liquidity, then reversed back immediately. So we saw price broke through the demand level. Now this is the demand level. Then price then we saw liquidity sweep, price broke through. We saw a strong bullish we saw a strong bearish displacement candle right here, indicating we saw a strong bearish displacement candle. We saw a strong bearish displacement candle, indicating this breakout was nothing but just a shakeout or a liquidity sweep. You understand? It was nothing but a shakeout here. Price had to take liquidity before changing direction or before reversing. So this was nothing but a liquidity sweep based on this bullish displacement candle. We saw breakout of a major breakout after this liquidity. After the liquidity sweep, we saw the bearish displacement candle. Then price declined. Then we saw the retest. And then that was where last week we had this massive bearish this massive bearish movement. So what should we be expecting? That is, now we know how price got to this very level. We saw the liquidity sweep, we saw the bearish displacement, we saw the retest. Now let me mark out the retest. We saw the retest, and we also saw the bearish continuation movement. Now what should we be expecting? Now we've talked about how price got to this very movement, to this very moment, to this very day. So what should we be expecting? Remember, this is the daily time frame, so every candle right here, big or small, has a huge impact on price movement on the day. All right, so let's drop this stuff. All right, so we've seen how price got to this very level. What should we be expecting? Okay, what we should be expecting. Now I want you to keep your eye on this bullish trend. Few weeks ago we had this major bullish trend. Remember, a few weeks ago we had this major bullish trend on USDCAD, the daily time frame. Very massive bullish, sweet bullish trend a few weeks ago. Now I want you to keep your eye on this. Let me mark it out. On this bullish, on this demand level right here, this blue demand level I'm marking right here. That is this yellow demand level. This yellow demand level. Now, during the massive bull movement of last few weeks ago, we saw price break through this demand. Level without a proper retest. There was no proper retest on this major breakout. Or even if there was a proper retest, this still indicates as a major supply level. Now because price broke through it, there was no proper retest, price just aggressively went up. So this demand level that's broken here automatically has activated itself to a supply level. I don't know if you guys are understanding me. Now when price breaks through a demand level, that demand level automatically acts as a supply level. That's one of the that's one of the basic fundamental rules of price movement. When price breaks through a major demand level, or when price breaks through a demand level, that demand level automatically turns as support. If that that break was active, that demand turns as support. Okay, so that's what we should be seeing right here now. That's what we are looking at currently. That's what we're seeing, because now we've seen a major breakout. No proper retracement has been made since that very breakout. Then we saw price got to this. We saw price got to this demand level. Then before we started seeing liquidity sweep, bearish liquidity movements, and we saw the pullback or the retracement. So now we don't know if this is just a retracement or an actual bearish trend, breakout continuation. All right, so let's keep our eyes open. Now the movement is about to change. Everything is about to change. Now you guys can see, now we have a major demand level right here. We have a major demand level that was broken. Demand level that was broken right here. We've not seen any major retest on that level apart from this day. Apart from this, let me mark it out. The only retest we've seen on this level, on that breakout, was just this. Come in, guys, hold on. Or just this. Yeah, it was just that candle right there. You can clearly see the retest. So that was the only retest we've seen on the supply level. And you can clearly see that candle. It's a spring candle. What does this mean? What I mean spring candle? It indicates there were buyers at that level. This price right here, let me call out the price. Let's see, 1.39535. So we clearly saw there were buyers right here based on this spring candle we saw. Then after the spring candle, you can clearly see how price reacted after the spring candle. Price just kept on rapidly advancing with strong momentum, indicating there were buyers around that level. All right, so let's keep our mind open. That's just the major thing we have to do right now. Keep your mind open to price movements. And let's see. So we have an idea now. We have an idea right here. Now we have an idea of supply level. We also have an idea of we have an idea of demand level, and we also have an idea that that demand level is likely to be active based on the spring candle we saw on that very price there. After that was the retest. All right. So now we know one thing is active right here. We know that demand is active around this price right here. Now we know that demand is active around this price. So we have to keep our mind open. All right, let's go. Let's see what we should be expecting. Remember, this is the daily time frame. This is not the 4 hours time frame. This is the daily time frame. We're going to switch down to the 4 hours time frame, but we want to understand what is going on with the bigger picture before we go down to the to our major execution time frame. All right, so let's go. So we've seen, now we can clearly see now these movements. Now I want you to keep your eye on these movements right here. That was on Friday. Today is Monday. Now let's look at Friday's movement. The way price rapidly dropped to the demand level, break through that to this demand level right here, break through that demand. Let me bring out this to this demand level, break through that demand level. The way price broke through this demand level, it's really nice. It's a nice movement, but we should always keep our eyes open because this is a demand level right here. This was a supply level that is now broken, that is now active. It's an active demand level right here based on this spring candle we've seen and how price reacted after that spring candle, indicating there will be a demand around that level. So likely there's a let's just say there's a 80% chance that demand would also be around that level. So we want to keep our eyes open. We want to keep our eyes open and our mind open for these movements. So what I'm doing currently right now, I'm just observing to see how price reacts to this demand level. Would this Friday's movement be a liquidity sweep, that is demand bullish liquidity sweep, or would it be a bearish continuation breakout? Now these are my two insights I'm currently looking at right now before making any other movements this week on USDCAD. This is what I'm looking at. Would this breakout, this Friday's breakout, would it be a shakeout, that is liquidity sweep, a bullish liquidity sweep, or it would be a bearish continuation to the downside? Now that's what we're looking at now. Would the market continue to drop aggressively? Breaking through this green demand, retesting it properly and continue going downwards? Or would it be that this on Friday bearish movement we saw breaking through the current demand level is a liquidity sweep? Would it be a liquidity sweep? Now we don't know. Today, at the end of today, maybe we'll have a good insight on what price is about to do based on these two insights. Would it be a liquidity sweep breakout, a bullish liquidity sweep breakout, or a bearish continuation breakout? Now there's no way we can know about the future, so this is where patience normally comes in. So we have the hold today to see what's going to happen, to see what's going to how the market is going to shape out itself. All right, all we have right here are some good insights on how price is reacting and what we should be expecting to see. All right. Now let's see the daily time frame. Now let's switch down to the 4 hours time frame. Now this is the 4 hour time frame. This is how price is looking on the 4 hours time frame. Yeah, so this is how price is looking on the 4 hours time frame. A very massive movement, a very massive bearish movement last week, but this is a new week, so we should be looking and we should be expecting to see some good reaction. All right. So like I said, on the 4 hours time frame, we don't really have much to look at currently. Remember, the two insights are simple. The two insights we are looking at: would this movement, would this breakout be a bearish continuation downwards, or is it just a liquidity sweep, a bullish liquidity sweep where price drops aggressively to make it look like it's going to drop aggressively, or the movement would continue, then automatically reverse and continue going the opposite direction. So let's watch out. This is where patience normally comes in. Now on the 4 hours time frame, we can clearly see on the 4 hours time frame we don't really have much to look at. But now we don't have much to look at today. But if price confirms, if we have a nice confirmation that yes, the bearish move, this bearish breakout is valid, there are no demand around this level, there are no demand around this around that our demand level, there are no demand, price breaks through it aggressively, continues to go downward, we have a very nice trend to look at for on the bearish side. You can clearly see it. If price confirms the breakout that yes, this is a nice breakout, we have a good trade. To look at throughout this week, a bearish trade to look at throughout this week. But if price reacts and price confirms that this is nothing but a liquidity sweep, demand is actually around this level. Demand is around this level right here. If price confirms that demand is around this level, then we'll be waiting to see how price reacts. Then we'll be waiting to see a major breakout around this black demand level, this black supply level right here. Once price is able to accumulate itself and breaks through this demand level right here, yeah, I think we have a good trade on the bullish side this week. But what we're currently looking at is being patient. This is where patience normally comes in. Very important. We don't rush the trade. We don't guess the trade. We act based on information we've seen, based on price action, based on smart money concepts. All right, so let's see. This is where patience normally comes in. We have two insights right now. We have a bearish lookout. We have a bearish trade we are looking at for. We also have a bullish trade we are looking at for. So I believe this week is going to be fun. We're going to be seeing a lot of good movements on this week. So let's see how it goes. All right, so you guys have a nice day. You guys stay safe out there. All right.